Hey, this is Andrew Brown from Exam Pro, and in this follow along, I'm going to show you how to use organizations and create some member accounts. Okay, so there are two places where you can manage your organization. It's within the IAM console here, so you just type in IAM to get to that console. But you can see here that it says organization is not in use because we have yet to create an organization. So what we'll have to do is in a new tab, we'll have to go to the organizations console here, which is where I am at currently, and we have this nice little wizard here to get started. So I'm going to go ahead here and hit create organization. It's going to ask us to create an organization where we have all these features, or we could just have one with consolidated billing. We definitely want to create this one here. So I'm going to hit create organization. Great. And so here I have created an organization, and you can see that it sent me an email to finish verifying your master account because the original account we have here has now been turned into a master account. So I'm going to go ahead and just go confirm that email here. So now I'm in my email here, and here's that verification email. So I'm just going to go ahead and press that button. And now this has been verified. Okay, so I'm just going to close that here, and I'm just going to refresh. And you can see we are now verified, okay, and we can see that's our master account. I think it might be, yep, the star emphasizes that that is a master account. So if I go back to IAM console here and do a refresh, let's see if there's any kind of change. Okay, and there definitely is. So you can see that we have a root organization here, and then we have the Exam Pro Fresh account, which is the master account. So we can't create additional accounts from here. It's just more of an organizational structure. But what we can do is go back to the organizations console here and do some organizing. So before I actually go ahead and create any accounts, let's actually go look at some organizations. To organize this account. So we'll go to organize accounts. And so over here, this is where we'd see all of our accounts, and we can create some organizational units. So I'm going to create a new organizational unit called developers. Okay. And so now I have that organizational unit, and there is some way for me to set them in the tree. Actually, by default, it has already set it here. So we already have that. Okay, so I suppose it already is associated to the root there. Okay, and so now what we'll want to do is we'll want to actually create an account under this organizational unit. So let's go back to accounts here and let's make a new account. I'm going to create a new account here, and I'm going to do Andrew plus fresh plus developer at exampro.co here. Okay, all right, it's got to be here, and we'll just say Andrew Brown. Okay, because every account has to have a unique email for the root account. And there is this IAM role. I'm just going to leave that blank and hit create. And what that is going to do, it's going to get us set up with a new account. And so I'm just waiting here for this to send us an email to tell us that our account is ready. Okay, so we'll just wait here for a little bit. All right, so after waiting a few minutes here, I got a new email saying my account is ready. Okay. And just back in here, if you do a hard refresh here, you'll see that the account is set up. You probably don't want to name the account based on someone's name. I just inherently had put my name in there. Generally, you'd want to name this developers or whatever the account is called here. But this account is now ready. So how do we actually access this account? Well, the way you do it is you actually just log in as the root user. So I'm going to just close this tab here. And I need to remember what this email is here. So it's Andrew plus fresh plus developer. And we're just going to log out here and just sign back in with this as the root user. So what we'll do here is we'll just go ahead and go sign into console. And we are just going to provide that email there. And we're just going to hit next. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to hit forgot password because this is the only way to set up new accounts. You have to just reset the password. And so we have to enter in this code, 53YM. QQ, that's really hard to see, but I think that's what it is. Okay, we'll try this again. 87E8YP. Great, and so now we're going to get an email here, and so we'll just wait for that email, okay? All right, and so here is that email to reset our password. So we just got to go ahead here and click this link here, okay? And so now we're just going to have to provide a new password. So I'm just going to fill something in there. Okay, and so now our password has been reset. Great, so now we'll just have to proceed to sign in here. So we'll just put in that new password and we should be in our new account. Great, and so now we are in within this new account. So it's that easy to get new accounts set up. And so I guess the next thing is we'll look at how we can organize this account with an organization. So we're gonna have to log in and go back into the root account of our master account, okay? So that's what I'm just doing here. Okay. So I believe I called it fresh. And we will just supply that a password. Okay, and so what we'll do here is we'll make our way over to organizations. And we see we have our account there. And so what we want to do is we want to add our account to an organizational unit. And so I'm just going to see how we can do that, if I can remember how. So I'm just going to check box this here. And I believe over here, if we right click here, this account is currently in the root. To move this, choose the move account option. Okay, so I guess that's what we need to do here. So we'll just click on move and we'll just choose that to be in the developer's root. And so now this account is under the developer's organizational unit, okay? So if we click into there, we can see that account. So the reason you'd want to move things into organizational units is so you can attach policies, okay? And service control policies, and that's what they are, helps you limit access to certain resources. So if we only wanted that account to only be allowed to use EC2, that's what we can do. So we'd say only EC2 here as the policy name. And then we'll just filter out what it is that we want to allow. So we'll say EC2. And then we have to choose actions, so we'll say all, okay? And then we can move on to resources, I suppose. Specify the resource type, EC2. We'll say all resources here, and then we'll hit add. And then we'll move on to the conditions. And so we don't need to change any of this here. I'm pretty sure I'm happy with that. And we're gonna say allow. So we're just gonna allow access to all of EC2, okay? So that way everything else will be implicitly denied. So the only thing we'll have access to is EC2, and hopefully the statement is valid, and we'll just go hit create policy. And now that we have our policy created here, which gives us only EC2 access, we now can apply it to that organization. You have to do everything from the root. So you'd have to enable service control policies so that you're allowed to use them, okay? And so now that is enabled, and I believe if we go into developers, we should be able to set that policy. So I'll go here, and I'm going to just choose attach, okay? And I'm not sure if I can detach it, but let's give it a go. Okay, and so now this one should only have access to EC2, but the root will still have access to everything, okay? So there we go. So now that we have an idea how we can apply permissions to accounts, let's actually go back to the other account and just go ahead and just shut it down or terminate it, because we're not going to be using this other account for anything, and we don't want to leave this other account laying around, okay? So what we'll do is we will just log out here, and I'm just going to log back into this other account. Okay, so I'm just proceeding to log into that other account there. And I just got to type the password in here. Okay, great. So we're back into our member account there. And we did say we were only allowed to launch EC2. So actually, let's go ahead and try to just create something else just to see if our service control policy is working. And right away, you see you're not authorized to perform Lambda. So our policy is working as expected, okay? And I didn't mention this before, but every time you create an account, they all have their own root account, okay? So right now we are logged in as the root account into this member account. And let's say you wanted to get rid of this account, you can actually suspend this account. So let's go ahead and do that now. So I believe to suspend accounts, we have to go to up here, and we'll have to go to my account. All right, so, but there's only one problem here, is the fact that we don't actually have the ability to close our own account because we don't have the permission. So we're going to have to go back into our master account and give us better permissions there, so we can actually go ahead and get rid of this account. So I'm just going to log out here, and we're going to go back into our master account there. And we will make our way back to organizations here. And so you might think that you could just remove the account here, but the problem with that is that it would just leave the organization. And in order to leave the organization, you'd have to attach a new credit card, and the account wouldn't be deleted or suspended. You actually can't delete accounts in AWS. You can just suspend them, which makes sure that no resources are being billed for within those accounts anymore. And that's what we want to accomplish here. So we're going to go back to our organization accounts here. We're going to click on developers, and we're going to go to service policies, and I'm going to attach the full access and then detach only EC2. And we're going to log out and go back into that member account. All right, so here we are going back into that member account. And we'll just do, was it Andrew plus Exam Pro plus developers. Oh no, it's fresh. Okay, fresh plus developers at exampro.co. Maybe it's just developer. There we go. We'll enter that password in. Okay, great. And so now we should be able to get rid of our account here. So I'm going to go up and go to my account. Okay, and so we do have some sensitive information here, which I have blocked out. But within here, we are going to go ahead and close our account. So we'll just do that. So what I did here is I just scrolled all the way to the bottom, and you can see that we can close our account. And we have a big long disclaimer about it. But again, the advantage here of closing our account, which just suspends it, is that it's going to ensure that we are not being billed for anything else within our account. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead here and say I understand for the three things here and go ahead and close my account. And so this account has now been closed, and I can just proceed to logging out here. So just scroll up and just log out, and we'll go back into our master account. All right, and so now we'll just go ahead and log back into our master account and go just check on the status of that organization. And we will just make our way back to organizations here. And you can see now this is suspended. So this account is no longer active, okay? And so that's all there is to it, okay? So yeah, that's AWS organizations. And yeah, there is some visibility there on organizations within the IAM console. There's not a lot there to do. You can just see the structure and look at service control policies, but just be aware that AWS is developing that in IAM. Yeah, and there you go.